My name is Miss Stacy. Today we are going to dive into a story using our imaginations. So first, let's turn up our imaginations. You ready? Here it goes. You've got it. Our imaginations are turned up. Today's story is Duck, Duck, Goose? Yeah, I said goose, didn't I? Well, the goose in this very next story doesn't feel very special. And because of that, it gets him into a lot of trouble. Watch and you will see. This is Goose. And as I mentioned, he doesn't feel very special. And because of this, it gets him into a lot of trouble. For you see, each and every day, because he's always in such a bad mood, he goes around honking at everyone. Honk, 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 honk. Honk, 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 honk. Well, Goose decides that he wants to be like all of the other birds around him. So, the very next day, he runs into a different kind of bird. And this bird happens to be a... What? If you said swan, you guessed it. When he sees Swan, he knows exactly what he wants of swans. He thought, if I had Swan's neck, then I would be beautiful too, and that's what I want. So he goes to Swan and he says, Swan, would you take my neck? I'll take yours. Oh, Swan thinks about this, and Swan realizes he'll do anything for Goose to get him in a good mood. So he agrees, and they switch necks. So this is how we're going to do it together. We're going to go, can you switch with me? And now imagine this goose with a swan's neck. And suddenly, Goose feels special. Ooh, he loves this new feeling. Well, the very next day, he runs into another kind of bird. Let's see what it is. It happens to be a what? Take a look, a note of the long legs. If you guessed a stork, you're right. When he saw Stork, he knew there was something of Stork's that he wanted. Well, what makes it Stork outstanding? If you said his legs, you're right. And Goose thought, you see, if I had Stork's legs, then everyone would look up to me. And that's what I want. So he went to Stork and said, Stork, would you take my legs? I'll take yours. Stork felt the same. He would do anything to get Goose in a good mood. So he said, sure, why not? And that's when they switched, and we'll switch together again. Get out your switcheroos, and you've got it. Now, just imagine this goose with a swan's neck and Stork's long legs. For you see, now he felt even more, what? Special. The next day came around, and you got it. He ran into another kind of bird, and this bird happened to be what is this? You could tell by his beak. It is a pelican. Oh, yes. And as soon as he saw Pelican, he knew what he wanted. What do you think he wants from Pelican? You guessed it. His beak. So he went to Pelican and said, Pelican, would you take my beak? I'll take yours. Pelican thought anything to get Goose in a good mood. Okay, I'll switch with you. And that's exactly what they did. So let's get our switcheroos out. And suddenly, Goose had Pelican's beak. But not only that, he had Swan's neck, Stork's legs, and Pelican's beak. And suddenly, he had that wonderful feeling again. He felt special. special. Next day rolled around. One more bird he came upon, and it happened to be one of the most beautiful birds, for you see, it is a beautiful what? Peacock, you've guessed it. You could see these at the Cameron Park Zoo. And when he saw Peacock, you can guess what he wanted of peacocks. Think about it. Oh yeah, that wasn't too hard, of course. He wanted Peacock's most beautiful tail feathers. So he went to Peacock and said, Peacock, would you take my tail? I'll take yours. Peacock was one to hesitate. Oh, unlike the other birds, Peacock said, oh no, I would never give away my most beautiful tail feathers. But one thing Goose could do was really talk them into something. He could talk the other birds into something. He said, but wait a minute, you see, if you have my tail feathers, then you could be a good swimmer. Oh yeah, Peacock started to think about that, really would like that too. Okay, you've convinced me, Goose. I'll switch with you. So that's what they did. They switched tail feathers on the count of 3. Let's do it together. 1, 2, and 3, and now he also has Peacock's tail feathers. Now let's just think back all of these wonderful things that Goose has of other birds. He has Swan's what? Neck, you've got it. Stork's what? Legs, yes, you've got it. Pelican's what? Beak, yes, you remembered. And finally, Peacock's what? Beautiful tail feathers. Now, use your imagination to think about what this silly goose looks like, and it almost makes me want to laugh. And I know you're going to laugh when you see a picture of what Goose looks like. But first, we've been using our imaginations. Plant that imagination in your mind what this goose looks like. And now I'll show you an illustrated version. Try not to laugh. I mean it. No laughing. Quite silly. I said no laughing. That's hard not to do whenever you see the silly looking goose. But he really doesn't even look like a goose anymore. Oh no, instead, I don't know what he looks like. That's right. For you see, then next, that's what all the geese did. There were other geese that came and flocked before him. And you know what they started to do? They laughed just like we just did. What are you? You're not a goose. I don't know what you are. And with that, you know what he said? Well, he said, of course I'm a goose, but I am the best. Ha! Oh, these geese were not quite so sure about this. They said, okay, if you're really a goose, you can prove it and you can come with us. So they all went to a large field of grass, and from there, they started pecking the grass. But when they looked back there at Goose, why, what do you think Goose was doing? He wasn't pecking the grass at all. Instead, all he could do with Pelican's beak was dig up a bunch of dirt. Oh, yeah, they said, see, you're not a goose. You can't even eat grass with us. He said, yes, I am too, a goose, and I am the best. Huh. You see, at this time, he wasn't now so sure. But he was set out to prove himself, and all of these geese went to a pond of water. And geese love to swim. And they started swimming. They started swimming. Splash. They started swimming. Splash. They started swimming. But wait a minute. What about that goose? When they looked back at Goose, he couldn't swim at all with all these bird characteristics and Peacock's tail feathers. But before you know it, that's when the danger happened. For there was a fox lurking around the pond. And we know that fox like to eat geese, and so all of the geese flew off. Everyone fly off, fly off, fly, 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 fly. Don't let the fox get you. Hurry, fly. And they all flew away, leaving Goose. For you see, Goose could not fly. And before you know it, that fox had him wrapped around his neck, and he said, "Oh, my doodle-doo." He'd even trade voices with Rooster. And with that, all of the geese then, they knew he was in trouble, and they came back to help their friend. Their friend was in need, and they came, and every single one of them pecked that fox. So all together, we're going to peck the fox. You ready? Let's do it. And that fox shot out of there as fast as he could. And that's whenever Goose had something to say. He said, "Oh, thank you, a-doodle-doo. Thank you, a-doodle-doo." Remember, he still had Rooster's voice. "Now I know what I need to do." What do you think he needs to do? If you said switch everything back, you're exactly right. And that's exactly what he did. He gave everything back. And we're going to do it all together. And one time, get out your switcheroos. And he became a goose again. Except this time, he was much happier. This time, he was much kinder. And this time, he was much smarter too. The end. Of Duck, Duck, Goose? So I just want to say to you, be a smart goose. What do I mean about that? I mean, be happy with who you are, because you are all very special. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.